before we go, we both played a little bit of Returnal, and so I want to touch on that. We've gone pretty long, so we're going to keep this short, but I want to touch on it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, how long did you play Returnal, and what was your thoughts going into it?
I think I'm about 5 hours in, I think, give or take.
Whoa, you're way ahead of me. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's nice. After we streamed yesterday, I stayed in the room and I started playing Returnal for a little bit. And then this morning, I played until we played that god-awful Balan Wonderworld. And yes, please, ask me questions about Balan Wonderworld. I'll do it. It took me a second to get behind what was going on with it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've had this, and I won't spoil anything, but just... I'm sorry, I got spoiled by Hades. I did.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of how the story gets told to me, told through Hades, was great. Yeah. And now that I'm like kind of retraining myself for Returnal, I'm giving the pass on a lot of stuff just so I can get it. But it's a lot more Metroidvania than I was anticipating, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
It is not a bad thing, but there comes a point when I'm like, all right, where the shit am I going? And I have to kind of start circling back. And it's not as clear as I was hoping it was going to be when it came to my actual full objective.
Yeah.
Like, it gives you like the full-on main objective right out the gate, and then you get to a point where your character registers you can't do that yet, and then it turns you to do another objective. And so it's a lot of, I'm getting point A to B. Oh crap, I can't go to C, so now I have to go A.1, A.3, and then jump around. And I like it, but after, like, Rose was watching it, and I was like, all right, how long is this going to take? So right now I'm playing this game. I feel like Hades took me an hour and 10 minutes to beat. How long did it take you? Like, one run of Hades.
Oh, one round? Yeah, probably like an hour. Yeah.
Dude, we looked it up. This shit's going to take you 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a time suck, especially with I lose, like, everything. Like, Hades at least gave me I'm building up to get a new weapon, and I can do the run with a weapon. Dead Cells gave me a random weapon. No, every single time I'm starting with a pistol.
Yeah.
And then what got me is it is a roguelike, and I'm doing it that way is because it is a roguelike, but in the biome that I'm in, once you start like kind of circling around and then you die, it just reshuffles the cards. Which I know that's Hades, and that's a lot of things, but I for some odd reason that I didn't connect that in my mind until like my third run, and I was like, wait, I've already been here, and then I just started backtracking myself. I'm like, oh, no, it literally was, they took this piece and moved it here and then flipped how you got to it.
Yeah. So right off the bat, like, I'm probably only about an hour and a half in. I only really got to play like a little bit last night. But yeah, you've instantly brought up my two main complaints with this game so far. Is that one, I have to keep hitting myself over the head and try not to compare this game to Hades a lot.
Yes.
Because that's just roguelike perfection, and it's hard to beat that. And two, as you mentioned, I totally forgot what the second point is. Shit, I forget what it was. I had two complaints with this game and I forgot half of them. The joy in this game comes from me is that obviously the gunplay, right? I can feel, as a person who like love Housemarque's games, I can feel the DNA of their previous games just like woven into the fabric of this. Just like the bullet hell aspects and the just tight gunplay. I won't speak about like how the story's delivered because I really haven't gotten that far into it yet to the point where I could say I can talk about it. The two or three things that really struck me is the environment, right? So like this new horror aspect, it's really, really like good in that it's like solo horror that I like, right? It's not jump scares jumping out at you. The whole environment is just dark and creepy, cold and unfamiliar and creepy, right? And there's this like sort of sense of like suffocation, right? Despite the fact that you are like going between open environments, you do feel like closed in. And you see like trees and stuff around you, like normal earth plants and stuff, but then like you see these other fauna that are like long tentacle creatures like that look really similar to the monsters you're fighting, and that creates a fear of the environment itself and just this ongoing subtle fear in your head, and it's like, yeah, that's good. And then like, yeah, the sort of like stone structures that like bridge this gap between ancient and futuristic, like just really gets these questions going in your head about this whatever civilization of aliens that you're like invading their home. The traversal for me, like the sort of platforming, the just like going around the world, for the most part felt intuitive. I felt I was in control. In some instances, was like I was going too fast, and I felt like a little bit out of control.
I was about to ask, like, do you think she goes a little too fast?
Yeah, there was one section in particular where I was on a pretty long run. This is actually where I stopped last night. I was going to stop soon anyway. I just remembered my second complaint with the game. Remind me of that. Put a pin in that. But like, there was this one section in the game where I was like doing this like platformer section, and it was like this like basically the floor is lava. There was like things you couldn't touch, and I was like, just went a bit too far and then got caught in it and did the thing that you never want to do in platformers, like Sonic 1 style, where it's like you're on the spikes and then you panic and then you jump around and you're still on the spikes and you spike dead.
Can't get out of this. Oh God, I'm dying.
Yeah, and dead. And that didn't feel good. And like generally like running around like for items' sake felt a little bit longer than I would have liked it to take between rooms. Like, just collecting all the stuff in one area just felt like a little bit too long, especially when I'm going to be doing this over and over again. And then, yeah, the real thing I was impressed with in my hour and a half is the DualSense. Just the way it works, the sort of adaptive triggers, like pulling it in slight ways to just do your normal fire and the alt fire for pulling the trigger the whole way. The haptic feedback and the rain coming down. And like in a game which requires like a lot of tight, precise gameplay and gunplay and monsters that are constantly attacking you from all angles, like having as much feedback and as much information given to the player as possible is really, really good. And that's something that like only the DualSense can do now. Because like we've mastered in games, we've mastered like visual feedback and audio feedback to like get you to like react to stuff, but the vibrations in the controller, like letting you know where enemies are and who's attacking where and what's happening around you, super nice and like super important for a game like this, which is hard. It's a hard game.
It is. I think I've died 5 times already.
Yeah, I've died twice. I've done 2 runs in that hour and a half. The other thing, like that, my second complaint is that like as far as I know, the runs this game could be up to 2 hours. And like the game tells you outright, like there's no save system, so you can use this.
That blows my mind.
You can use the suspend feature on the PS5, which like of course I'm gonna do that. But like, what if it like conks out and then I lose all my shit? Like there isn't that already. I can tell like there isn't that same amount of satisfaction Hades after beating her, and it's like I fucked that up, but at least I know I'm way stronger and way more capable to go in and fuck them up again. It seems like there's this one like row of items that you keep permanently, and then other than that, like it's just new stuff every time.
I agree.
But yeah, like I got to like play with like 3 or 4 guns, and they all felt great. Shotgun, like the rifle, the handgun, and one other thing I can't remember. But yeah, all the alt fires were cool. Definite Next Machina vibes. But yeah, excited to jump into that a little more. And explore it a little bit more for the review.